In this, the second of a two-part series on why we tend to struggle so much to get the right people in management roles in our organisations. In part one, we covered off two pieces of research-backed information that gave us a bit of a feel for why that might be going on. In this one, I'll round it out with some more ideas and thoughts and some suggestions for possible solutions for how we might be able to make better decisions around this and get the best managers in the right roles. Hi, I'm Campbell Such. This is Mindbite Thursday, your weekly dose of the human edge in technology. In the first part, we covered off two pieces of research around why we have so much trouble finding the right people and putting the right people into management positions and having them engage and grow and help our team succeed. The first was Gallup, and that was all around their research that showed only 3 in 10 or 30%, only 3 in 10 people have the capability, aptitude to and capacity to be really good managers, and only 1 is a natural, and 2 with the right coaching and mentoring and training and teaching and education and support can grow into become a good manager and be a very, very good manager. And then the other piece of research from Boyle and Aguinis was around why star performers, rather than being in a bell curve where you have the low performers, most people in the middle and a few right up the top, forms a power law where the majority of people fall below the average, and the star performers are right up the end and have a massively multiplying effect on performance. So why would you take them out and put them into management position? Why would you take out your star wide receiver or your star striker from the Green Bay Packers, or your star striker from the Manchester United football team in the UK in the English Premier League, or your star first 5 from the All Blacks rugby team, and promote them to coach? Well, you wouldn't, because you take them out of the team and who knows if they're even going to be a good coach. So some other things to consider. What happens with people that we tend to identify as being management? They tend to be the star performers, which we talked about in the last one, but what we tend to do with our technical expertise, software development, network engineering, anything that's technical, marketing expertise, being a graphic designer, we train for that and then we come into the role. In management, what we tend to do is there's no training, you just end up in the role. And the challenge with that is you go in with no formal understanding of what the role might be like and very few skills, and you kind of have to learn on the job. And if you're a really technical person and you've never done management before, you may also be one of those people that tends not to be great at dealing with people, and perhaps you shouldn't even be in that role in the first place. So that's the first thing. The second thing then is, once we get into the role, what happens if they turn out to be no good? Or what happens if they turn out to hate it and they were the star performer? So one of the things that we don't do is we don't give people a taster, and what I believe we need to do is to set our organisations up so that we can give people a taste of management and the ability to step back into a technical role without any loss of face, without any loss of reputation, and to be able to continue on it. Daniel Gilbert wrote a book called Stumbling on Happiness, and the thesis of his book is we are very poor at knowing how we're going to feel about something until we actually try it. So I'd suggest that if you're considering someone for a manager, or if you're even considering a management role, work out how do you give that person a taste of it in a no-risk way that lets them get a feel for whether they like it and whether they're any good at it. And if you're looking to go into it, see if you can work out a way that you can get a taste of it without it necessarily impacting you if things don't work out, or you find that you don't like it, even though you'd have sworn and signed off a piece of paper to say, oh, that's where I want to go. So what happens if that person that moves into management finds that they're no good at the role, or they hate it, or that they don't love it like they did their technical role? Well, what tends to happen is they leave. And guess what? We've lost all of that knowledge that they had, they've gone. Secondly, they've gone to a competitor, which works against us. And thirdly, they were really good at what they did technically, and we've just lost them out of that role. That'd be like taking the wide receiver out of the Green Bay Packers, putting them into a management role, finding they're no good, and they leave, and you've lost your best wide receiver. So what's the solution for that? You need to have a path that allows them to go back. Then the other piece that drives that quest to move into management is that's the path where the most money tends to lie. And so what happens is, in a technical role, you get better and better and better, and then ultimately, in terms of income, you stagnate. And the only way to take a step up in income is to move into a team lead role or a management role or in a leader role and then work your way up there. But if that's not the path for you, then that's going to be a real challenge, because you're going to spend your whole time not happy, uncomfortable, not necessarily doing a good job, and having your team complaining about you not being a good manager. So what's the alternative? Well, here's the real challenge for us, I believe, as organisations, is to build an alternative path, which is a technical path. So that allows the technical people to grow, that it's a valid path, that it's seen as having as much status as moving up into leadership. Economically and financially, the rewards are there as well, and so that there isn't a drive into management just for the money. There's a drive to make the right decision for the person, and we know that 7 out of 10 people aren't suitable for management. To make sure that those 7 out of 10 end up in a technical path or in a non-management path that allows them the financial reward and the status that they would otherwise get. Some food for thought. So summing up, 3 out of 10 people are likely to be any good at managers, and only one's a natural and the rest need to be trained. If we take our star performers, second point, if we take our star performers out of the business, then we lose their technical expertise and the value they add into the business, actually delivering for the business. And thirdly, if they move into management and they're no good, they upset the team, and then they probably end up leaving. And thirdly, we have no alternative path for people to take a non-management role to have the status and financial rewards that managers have. Wow. If you think that there might be a useful conversation that you and I could have around this whole space, around your aspirations, where you are now and where you want to go, either through a technical path or through into management, reach out, subscribe to the Integration Catalyst YouTube channel. There'll be more information there, and I'm happy to have a no pressure, informal chat about whether or not there might be a good fit for the two of us. Something to ponder, something to think about. That's Campbell Such, Mindbite Thursday for this week. Over and out. See ya.